for you all. Thank you all for being such good listeners.
Thank you, Susan. So one of the things for me, for the theme for today, is everybody taking action. So I want you to take down that number. Frederick, back up, please. Back up. 0207 704 2261. Have I got it right, Susan? Okay, can you put that in your phone book? That's your first action for today. 0207 704 2261. Okay? Wonderful. So that's call to action. Eunice, you want to say something quickly?
Just very quickly. I have some evaluation forms that you could fill in, and it only takes less than 5 minutes. So please, I'll pass them along and just fill those in, and I'll collect them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So our next speaker, let me get back to my list. It's Hawa. And are you ready? You ready? You're coming with the baby? Wonderful. So Hawa, there you go. Yeah. So Hawa and Aliva are going to deliver a joint presentation, aren't you? Yes. Are we ready?
This is sort of more or less an interview with Hawa. Do you want to go to the middle? Yes. Yeah. Let's get the chair. Yeah, you go to the middle. Let's come this way. Yeah. Oh no, I bring the baby. Put the baby down. She's our latest champion.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
But you all can hear me because I have a very loud voice, yes?
Yes.
Good. So well, this is more or less something to bring the Hawa Trust in the UK up to date with an extraordinary work the Hawa Trust Sierra Leone is doing. We know as part of the work of the Hawa Trust in Hackney how important it was, or it is, working with communities. So, well, in terms of, for me, I'm just like an ambassador of the Hawa Trust. Being that I'm from the Sierra Leonean community and we know how important it is to make the connection with whatever we're doing in the UK to that of the work back home, because we can only make change if the people here are connected to the issues back home, because somehow the two are linked. So we were very fortunate this year, or last year, Hawa and her team went to Sierra Leone. And for me, I just thought it was important for this to be brought to the UK, so at least the community in the UK can see some of the great work the Hawa Trust is doing in Sierra Leone. And so this was part of that mission. So it's a scoping exercise. Even though the Hawa Trust has been working in Sierra Leone since 2012, that's how I got to know about the work of the Hawa Trust. And in that time, the Hawa Trust has worked with many, many communities. Now, there are over 20 languages spoken in Sierra Leone. And as you can imagine, it's a hard job to communicate issues of domestic violence, issue of HIV and AIDS, and the issue of FGM and child marriage. So it takes a lot of hard work. So on the ground, in terms of the Hawa Trust in Sierra Leone, there are lots and lots of volunteers. And one of the most important things is having men volunteers working on women issue. And Hawa will try and tell us a little bit more about that. But in terms of the scoping exercise, in fact, it came about not as a result of the FGM work the Hawa Trust is doing in Sierra Leone, but as a result of something which was just a call to action. Because Hawa herself, founder of the Hawa Trust, was moved by watching a news report about the Ebola crisis in Sierra Leone. And at the time, seeing these many orphans who were abandoned by the wider community. Obviously, their parents had passed away, and no one was helping. So Hawa got in touch with a town called Kigbal, and she'll tell you a little bit more about that town. And obviously came across these young kids who had nowhere to go, no food, no clothing, no shelter. And she reached out with just barely what she has as an individual. She connected with the community, and so this work began. So the first thing was how we're building a makeshift school, which was only just, a little building, but it has grown now. And so got the children back into this sort of shelter. And from going into that shelter, the kids actually did learn. And as a result, we're demanding for stuff, and they've got a library, they've got lots of things going on, and Hawa will tell us a little bit more. So the Hawa Trust had to gain the trust and the confidence of the town. It's a small village, actually, not a town, it's a small village. And it takes a lot for communities in those areas, particularly in remote places where no one has ever connected with these communities, to then see somebody from outside of Sierra Leone, outside of their community, connecting with them. So I'm going to start this in sort of a question so that Hawa can just bring us, because we talked about this yesterday. And the purpose of this was actually to find out initially what she could do to help. Not so much to work on FGM, HIV, child marriage, and all the other stuff. But what we discovered from Hawa connecting with these people, she became more or less their ambassador. She could not let these people go because they wanted a lot more than what they have. And I think this makes a massive difference. So, Hawa, yes. You went to Sierra Leone when?
2017.
Yes, yes. And you hit the ground running?
Yes. I went to Sierra Leone August. I visited 4 different areas. My first place was Kigbal.
Yes.
Because during the Ebola, since Ebola, we've just been talking over phone. I have my champions in Sierra Leone that are doing works with. The Hawa Trust in Sierra Leone is, we're working with women and girls initiative and children in crisis. So children in crisis, like those children that lost their parents during the Ebola crisis. So I started sending food for them because I saw it on telly here when Androma reported it. An old man was crying that nobody is there to help them. He went in the bush and fetched firewood, sell before they will have their food. So it caught my eye. So immediately I phoned my champions. I said, there is a village in Kigbal, Potloko district. Can you help? They said, oh, a lot of people died there. So I said, okay, take this 10 bag rice and some money to them. The entire village turned up.
Well.
Then after that, they said they couldn't go. I said, no, I just gave you food. They said, let me help the kids. The kids used to travel with their parents 3.5 miles from the town to where they are going for school.
Okay,
so,
can I just stop Hawa there? Well, the town of Kigbal, because I think Hawa's missed a little bit, which I wanted just to share some of the sentiment, because for me I found it quite moving. Because not only did just the leaders of that community came out, there were little children, but I just wanted you to, and I'll interpret. For the first time I'm going to interpret. So we're going to play the video. This is just a little bit of what the community did. And pay attention to what they're saying. So for people from Sierra Leone, if the town comes out singing for you, you are in trouble. No, you're not in trouble. But it means just so much. What we couldn't see out of the shot was little kids, about hundreds of them, came out matching to welcome Hawa, because until then, none of them had seen her or heard about what she was doing. Even though she'd been sending school fees, even though she'd been sending rice for the Ramadan period, there was food provided for all the community. And so this began a relationship. So the next slide. So when Hawa got to the Kigbal, which is the northern part of Sierra Leone, Potloko district, it's actually where my mother is from, Potloko. So she was welcomed by the town, and it means a lot because in terms of interacting and engaging and getting communities to talk about the issues of child marriage, FGM, these are quite sensitive topics. If they don't know you, the whole community can shut down, particularly if they know, for example, we're Timony. What you heard there, they were singing, "The stranger has come," we have a visitor, and we're welcoming her, was what that song was about. Sometimes people shut down, not because they don't trust you, it's just because they can't communicate with you, and they would always see you as somebody who's outside of their community. But for them to come out, and initially it was just to get to know the people. The Hawa Trust wasn't there to talk about anything else, but just to get to know the people that she'd been sponsoring and helping throughout the Ebola period. But prior to the visit, several of the team had gone before Hawa. Cherry, for example, he's a guy called Cherry, so it just goes to show he's very fun. And Cherry and the team had already gone before at the Kigbal, but Kigbal is connected with other little towns around Putloko. The northern province is quite big, and so is Putloko itself. And in almost in all the communities they visited, the whole entire communities came out to welcome Hawa and her team. And the part that was similar, in fact, the way they wanted it was to do it, because they said, well, if we're going to come, we want to do something. And this was the time, actually, when FGM takes place. So it was so powerful that the people decided not to do FGM, but instead welcome Hawa and her team as an alternative rite of passage. Get the people to come, we'll dance, we'll wear the costumes, we'll do everything. So some of the pictures you see, like the bottom of the picture, and if you look there, most of them are men. The women are in the sort of the back, and you could see some of them. But if we go back, sorry. The bottom picture, in almost in all ceremony, in terms of FGM, called the Bondo Society, in almost all the ceremony, that mask comes out, or the devil, we call it, will come and have a dance. But for the first time, children came out. They weren't scared. Hawa, correct me if I'm wrong. Usually people will hide because, you know, if you take part, then what usually happens, you become an initiate. You are recruited or undergo FGM as a result of participating. But this was more or less a fun. So the men were sort of instrumental in coming out. And I wanted you to just tell us a little bit, how did that feel?
This was, I went in the north, I went in the north, the other part of the north, which is the Bombali district. Chief Don called Bendembunguwangu. So I managed to bring all the paramount chiefs. So that day that I launched my program in the chiefdom, the paramount chiefs, they signed the bylaw, signing the bylaw that they won't give a child married and they won't cut a small girl. So that was the day, that was the celebration that day, which I did a lot in that community. I visited about 6 chiefdoms when I went last year home. So it's going on, going on, going on.
So in terms of how the rules and legislation work in Sierra Leone is a country that works with 2 sort of laws. We have the formal and informal. The informal are the traditional laws, and in fact, they're more powerful than the formal laws, because most people understand the traditional laws. So it was good for you to get that without having to go through the loop of doing stuff. So
even in one chiefdom, the paramount chief, which is called PC Kande Kia, said if he found in his town, in his chiefdom, a small girl has been initiated into Bondo Society, they will find them. Because the paramount chiefs, normally when they want to initiate, the paramount chief they have to pay like a license, which is like 500,000, equivalent to 50 pounds, or before they will give you license, you the quota to court. He said in his home chiefdom, he won't allow any young child to be caught until you are 18, or neither a child married. So that was my starting.
So big. Now, you were there for 4 weeks, I understand,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And in that 4 weeks, you got to do which most, in terms of politicians, will never sort of achieve, meeting lots and lots of traditional leaders. And you are not even a traditional leader, which was another challenge that you've overcome. So in terms of your work, the Hawa Trust, obviously, you began with a face-to-face meeting with individuals. Yeah. And then you were discussing, what, over 100, as we can see from the pictures. These are 2 settings. And what I liked the most when I saw these images was how many men, which usually you don't get in these settings?
Yeah, I managed to call all the faith leaders and daddy, mommy, everyone. I sat them down face to face, men first. I said, this is this, this is this, this is this. If you do this, this is what will result to your child. If you educate your girl child, this village will become a big city. But stop cutting your daughters. Like just joining things, like when you cut, maybe the cutters, the knife is not clean, it will end up with either HIV or another thing. Then your young child, if you take your child to early married, fistula is there. So after them, then the women, again, they call me. They said, can you come and play that your film to us? Just women. So we sat down. A lot of them came. So villages, they started calling me. Come until I run out of money. Then I said, next when I will go, I will visit the other villages. Yeah. But it was amazing. They are saying that, oh, they didn't know. It's just education. You sat them down, you show them film, you explain to them. They will understand. They say they keep on hearing that FGM, Bondo Society is not good, it's not good. But nobody went to them in their villages and sat them down and explained to them. That's why when we are working, we need to start with grassroots.
And I wanted to also share something, because we couldn't get the video, so because it was so funny. If you look at the top picture right at the back, the women were at the back. And the title of your workshop, you said you called it Health and Well-Being. And as you were talking about health, you even spoke about breast cancer. The women from the back came to the front.
To the front,
The men, you could see how the men were like, because they're always starting to come to the front. And it's important.
In breast cancer way, because when I went to the other village, I saw a lady, her breast become swelling. They started putting like herbal medicine. I said, have you taken this lady to hospital? How many weeks has she going into pain? They said, oh, it has been for nearly 3 months. So I said, okay, let me tell you what, I'm not diagnosing her as a cancer. I said, well, that will be one factor. After here, we drove to the city. Exactly it was. They were just putting herbal medicine. The woman now is the Hawa Trust that is looking after her in Sierra Leone. They've done the operation. So we go for one, we found a lot. So we need to support like grassroots workers like me, especially we the Sierra Leoneans in London here. In the UK, we are not getting any support. We are not getting support. I didn't say like in the UK, but for Sierra Leone, we are not getting anything. We're just doing this out of our own work that we are getting. Our own work, like I will squeeze or I will ask my children to give me money when I want to help back home. But if we want something to finish in Sierra Leone, it will start from we the grassroots work here. But if we are not getting funded, how are we getting to those people? They will just call us that we are talking. And working in Africa, talk can't solve the problem. That's right. You need to perform. Perform, you need to gather them. You have to buy water and drink, like what we are doing here. So we need support for us that are campaigning for FGM in Sierra Leone and other issues. You go for FGM, you find a lot. So if we are saying that we are supporting women, we're asking for other people to come, everybody to come and support we.
Yeah, so it was important to get the community to make the link, even though the discussion, the workshop was mainly about FGM, but focusing on their health and other issues that they may bring. If we take a look at the final slide, some of the outcomes that the community themselves, I mean, this was the paramount chief that you were referring to, and he said something very important, which I think, for me, who was not there, but watching and sort of learning from this experience, he said quite a lot of things. And one of the sort of stuff he said was that communities, if given the resources, they themselves can end FGM and child marriage. I thought that was very important.
Yeah, he said it.
Yes, and he said they were willing to engage with actors from within their community, so they saw you as one of them. And I think that's why, looking back in the video and seeing the relationship you had with them, they came out in numbers because you meant a lot more, and you represented them, and they knew that you were there to bring them good. And the communities, from what he was saying, communities were resisting in terms of change, resisting change, because mainly a lot of the people talking to them about FGM were foreign NGOs.
Yes.
I found that really, I mean, we always say it's good for people to go and help back in Africa, in Sierra Leone, for example, but it's becoming an issue. And I think we, as Sierra Leoneans, maybe the diaspora, people from the UK, have to think about that. Because Africa is no longer this poor place,
No. If, like, NGOs want to go, we are here. We are open up. I'm here, not in my name, lose the knife and keep the drum. Why can't they utilize us? We know how to talk to our people. If you want to, like a lady that, if you want to talk to a mother, just go through the child. If they want to do anything in Sierra Leone, if they pass through us, FGM and child married, it will finish in Sierra Leone. Well, hence they are bypassing us. I didn't have fund. I funded myself. I went. I cover a lot of places. So we asking them to come to our aid. Let's work together, and we'll finish FGM in Sierra Leone. Nobody will finish FGM, minus we the survivors in the diaspora.
Thank you. And it's important when we're fighting issues like FGM that we combine it with other issues. In your case, the Ebola was the starting point, but you took on the breast cancer, HIV and AIDS, health and well-being, and mental health.
And education as well.
So thank you very much, Hawa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very moving to know actually you could focus on a single issue such as FGM, but actually responding to the needs of the community, Ebola, going down into the grassroots. And I think we all share in your message, don't bypass the community. And it's a message that we need to take to policymakers. So I know that the National Lottery, I'll keep talking about them because they're creating change in terms of the work that we're doing. So we actually need to take this conversation to the international committee of the National Lottery Board to ask, why are we not using the resources of grassroots organizations? Why are we bypassing it? Because it's funding the maintenance of the situation rather than transforming it. So we need to collectively come together, people, and take this issue and take ourselves to policymakers so that they invest in us. So I'm going to move on to Susan, who's here. Susan's fantastic book binding, who's going to sum up some of the conversations so far, and hopefully we can take that message forward. You can share how we might be able to influence public policymakers.
Thank you, Christine. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you to Hawa for inviting me. It does say, my name is Susan Bookbinder, not bookbinding. But why am I here? It says I'm here as a journalist. I'm not here as a journalist. I'm here because I stand up. And I stand up because it's in my DNA to stand up because I'm from a family of survivors, of Holocaust survivors. I just want to tell you about one of my relatives, Fega Menzigerski. Her father was taken on Kristallnacht by the Nazis, by the Gestapo, to Buchenwald concentration camp and nearly beaten to death. Her sister, Etty Lee, is the one name that I want to keep in your mind, and her mother, Frida Menzigerski, because I'm here calling out their names. Fega managed to escape Nazi Germany on the Kindertransport. What you said, Susan, earlier really resonated with me, the other Susan from Africa, because a lot of the children who escaped, the 10,000 children that were taken in by this country to escape Nazi Germany, a lot of them were enslaved, taken into domestic servitude and abused. Fega Menzigerski was taken in by my great aunts, Yetta, Bleemer, and Sarah Bookbinder in Manchester. And they had survived the pogroms in Poland. So when Fega died at the age of 91 last year, one of the last things she said to me was, "I've lived all my life with survivor's guilt. Why was I spared?" And I said, "Why do you think?" And she said, "To call out their names." So I'm writing Fega's story in a book at the moment. And taking it back to why I'm here is because I got involved with this movement because I identify with the people here who so bravely stood up. If Fega Menzagursky's sister, Etty Lee, and her mother had had somebody like Hawa, like Sarian, like Comfort, like Alima, who stand up, they wouldn't have frozen to death on their way to the gas chambers. Etty Lee was 7 years old. So I'm calling out their names now, and it gives me great pleasure to be here and stand up with you, because the way you're standing up, all you people here standing up, will stop, including it's great to see the guys here as well, because you standing up for those people who can't stand up for themselves, you are stopping thousands more young girls from being mutilated or taken into domestic slavery. So thank you for standing up. Thank you so much for having me here. And let's keep doing what we're doing. So it now gives me great pleasure to pass the mic on to my friend, my sister, and a lady who has stood up right from the beginning, and she's changed so many lives, Carrie-Anne Samara.
What's going on today? Susan Bookbinding? I love that. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Auntie Hawa. I'm here. Okay, my name is Sarian. Salon people go say. Wait, man say Sarian. Karim Kamara. Me, now the director and founder of Keep the Drums, Lose the Knife. Now, community interest group, we're based in Sodok, Peckham. We they do the same work, very similar to waiting. Auntie Hawa they do na this una own acne, yeah, for raise awareness. For we try for bring end to all forms of violence against women and children. Yeah, so I'm here to, say a big thanks to mothers. So for me, I'll keep it real. Women. And in that process, I just want to, I'm not trying to single out. Well, in this point, I really want to single out Auntie Hawa. I want to celebrate her. Let's celebrate Auntie Hawa. She's an asset. You don't know. I know this woman. I met her through my campaigning role. And I know the difference she had made in my position as the director of Keep the Drums, Lose the Knife. I know what I'm talking about. She's the woman you can call on any time, any day. She is there. She is willing. She will give you her resources, her time, her energy. Yeah? And honestly, Hawa, come up here, please. Yeah, we really want to celebrate this woman today. We are celebrating Women's Day, but I'm telling you, she is a wonderful woman to be in our community, to be in our midst, to be as a mother, a colleague, she have not even started to explain the good things she's doing among our community and other communities here in the UK, and not to talk of Sierra Leone and beyond. I was privileged to go with Hawa to Senegal in 2016. We went for 10 days training. Trust me, we had the time of our life. She was the best person to be spending your day, your night, your evening, your morning for 10 days. I was not bored one bit.
You know, she is very fantastic. I've learned a lot from her. She is a social worker. And what she does, she brings our skills of being the social worker into our everyday community life. You can really, when you see her, you know this woman she's really disciplined. Disciplined in a sense that she can really bring our everyday life, into a professional life into our everyday life. And she can easily do that. So I can really feel, when she was in Sierra Leone, she would call me, and I was calling her. For every time she make a post, I would call her, very excited to say, oh, what's happening? And she would say, Sarian, you need to be here. You should be here. You know, she's doing it. Imagine, it's her own money. It's from her pocket. But she is so excited, you know, seeing that she's making a difference in other people's lives. I've not even met these people. She only met them, but just going there, she wants to do more. She kept calling home for people to send her more money. That I know. She did not say that. The money she went with, she went out, but she was calling. Send me money. I need to do this. So please, I really want to celebrate this woman on this day. Thank you, Hawa. We appreciate you. We love you. We pray that God will continue to bless you, bless your family, your beautiful daughter. You know, you've set a really good example for her. Look at the young lady she's turning to. You know, you should be just proud. You're a pure example of what women should be in our community. You're the kind of woman we really want to showcase. And today, I really, really want to celebrate you from the bottom of my heart. We love you, Auntie Hawa. And keep doing what you're doing. We will continue to support you. We'll continue to stand by you. And today, for me, it's all about you. Thank you. Thank you. We love you. Thank you very much. And for me to say goodbye, I just want to appreciate everybody and thank you for coming. It's amazing for me to see men amongst our midst, and these are well-known men in our community. You know, when we saw them walking, everybody was like, you know, we're looking at each other. Brothers, we appreciate you. We need you on this race. We cannot do this race by ourselves. As you know, from our community, we are Sierra Leoneans. If anybody is here who is not sure which community we're from, when it comes to cultural practice, men are taking the lead. When it comes to decision making, that's the word I wanted. Men are in front. It is in our culture. So for we to be able to end all this practice that we think they're so degrading, they're so damaging to our women and girls, we need you guys to come on board, and we really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. You know, if you look in the crowd, you can only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 men, 7, while he's working. 6 men, Okay, I'll let you go. 7, 10. So let's say 8. Well, just what you need to do is to multiply that. Because for you to have this much men in this kind of gathering, you don't see it. When we do events, we only see like 2 or 3 men the most. So we want you to clap for yourself, because you're going to do us a favor on this very important day. I want you to go around and give every woman a hug. So that's what you're going to do as men, because we want to celebrate women. That's why we're here. So please, on your legs, go around and give every woman a hug. That's what you will do. That's how you're showing us that you're standing with us. That's how you're showing us that you're with us on this very fight. Thank you so much. Thank you. May God bless you. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you, my darling.
Wonderful. So a round of applause. So while the men are going around sharing hugs, sisters, I want you to actually, I'm inviting you to celebrate each other. So I want you to go up, get off your table, and find 3 women that you can say, I celebrate you to, okay? So everybody move. Move. Very quickly. I celebrate you. Wonderful. I celebrate you. Hello, I celebrate you, my dear. Yeah, they're coming on in about 10 minutes, yeah? No, you cannot. Testing. So, Hawa, are you ready? That's okay. We can do Helen. Hello. How are you? Hello. I celebrate you, my darling. Susan. Susan. Councillor Etty's not here. Will you say a few words? Yeah. That'd be good. I'm going to get you one in a minute. I celebrate you. Daniel, I celebrate you. I celebrate you. Okay, everybody, 10, 9, get back in your seats. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1. Please take your seats. Darling, don't mess it. She said yes. She said yes. Okay, our next speaker, you've seen her wearing a crown. We've got Miss Sarah Leone in the room who's going to say a few words to you. So Miss Sarah Leone, Hawa, will you come up? So Miss Sarah Leone wears the same name as Hawa. How fitting is that for today? Yeah? So she stands here next to us as a person doing so much in Sierra Leone, but she wasn't always this outward going. Were you, Susan? Not Susan, Hawa. Were you, Hawa? So Hawa's going to give us an insight to her role as Miss Sierra Leone. So shall we start by giving her a round of applause for that wonderful title? So she's going to talk to us about being shy and staying back and coming forward and speaking out. Over to you, Hawa.
Thank you very much, Christine. Good evening to you all, and I want to say Happy Women's Day to you all and Happy Mother's Day as well. Today I'm going to start by telling you a story. I am from a family of a survivor. I know this 8-year-old girl who went through FGM. And during the time that she went through FGM, she nearly died. She bled to death. The traditional people, they actually use the mud from the sea just to stop the bleeding. Can you imagine what could have happened to that girl? Can you imagine if that girl is still alive? And I want to tell you tonight that that girl is Miss Sierra Leone UK today. I started my journey as a very shy girl. I was very scared to talk in public, to even look at people. But today, I am proud to stand in front of all of you tonight. I've been inspiring young girls every day. I have girls coming into my inbox, messaging me for my good work, because I've been doing humanitarian work. I've been working with my community and been working with female in prison in Sierra Leone. My organization is called I Am My Sister's Keeper. I Am My Sister's Keeper is aimed to provide sanitary towels and other toiletry items for female as a way to maintain hygiene and their dignity. In terms of violence and FGM, it is really hard to speak to people about it. Sometimes the local community, they don't trust us. And for you to gain trust from them, you have to speak in their own language. Whatever tribe you are, whether you're Timni, Mende, Madingo, Creole, you have to talk to them in a language that they can understand. As young people now, we all use social media. And I think social media is a great platform for all of us to be creating awareness to people that have been facing this issue. We need to explain to them. We need to educate them. It's hard, but we should keep doing it. We need to engage people who are role model in society, people like artists, people, pageant queen. A lot of the time people think being in beauty pageants is just about beauty. But indeed, there is more to beauty pageants than people think. We are ambassadors. We create awareness for issues that are affecting people, not just women, children, community, and even the planet. So at this time, I've seen lots of young women being more confident. They're asking me, how did you get there? I knew you 2 or 3 years ago. You were not this girl. I just told them, keep pushing hard. Keep working hard. No matter where you start from, you can get to where you are. As today we're celebrating International Women's Day, I want to say thanks and appreciation to all the strong women out there that have been working so hard for the interests of women. Happy International Women's Day to you all, and thank you.
That was a very moving speech and contribution. Can we give Hawa another wonderful round of applause? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. At this stage, I'd like to invite Susan, in terms of your role within, you're Speaker of the Council, aren't you?
Used to be.
See, that's us. Oh, it feels so near. So as one of our important councillors, I'd love to invite you to say a few words. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Good evening, everyone. We are dominating this room, the Susan are made to understand I'm the fourth Susan tonight. Can I just say Happy International Women's Day to all of you women, and can I just say Happy Mother's Day as well. It is a privilege to be here. As I've been introduced, my name is Susan Fajano Thomas. I'm a councillor in Hackney and a senior member of the Labour Party nationally. I've been an activist in this country in the last 27 years. And I've been challenging people in the room. I rushed to get there this evening. I'm happy that people are celebrating Hawa. And today we had a seminar. I'm the founder of an organization called the African Women in Diaspora and the president of Nigerian Women in Diaspora Leadership Forum. We usually hold seminar in the month of March. We had that seminar today in the city of London. So people are packing up there as speak, but I said, oh, I promise Hawa that I'll be here for 5 o'clock. I need to rush and get to this place. That is how important Hawa is to me and the work she does. She's put FGM on the map in Hackney. There are a lot of people that are doing FGM, but the way she campaigned in terms of FGM is the way I want people to do it. I've got many African people that are collaborating with people from the West. And all the way they're saying to African is, oh, that's an abuse, that's an abuse. But she said something that is important. It's about education. If I'm ignorant of something, I think what I'm doing is good. Every one of us in this country, I do a bit of work research around mental health. 100 years ago in this country, when you are depressed, they put you in asylum because they don't know better at that point. But education brought us to a stage where they recognize that. In this country, up to 1952, if you, as a man, if you wear a woman's dress, not being gay, you're going to be put in prison. That was where we were back then. But today, two men are going to the registry to get married because we have moved. And that is the way I think campaigns should go. We are talking about early child marriage. Our organization, Nigerian Women in Diaspora Leadership Forum, we have been campaigning in the last 5 years to change a clause in the Nigerian constitution. And we work with other African organizations in various African countries about how can we change, how can we engage. I don't like using the word empowerment. We are all empowered. So what we need to do is to bring people to empowerment
into the forefront. So we engage people. We are saying to people, this is the way to go. We are educating. Well, by engaging with people, you are educating them. You're taking them from a way to one way to another way, which is the right way. And that is the way Hawa have been campaigning about FGM. So I celebrate Hawa for her work and what she's doing. And I'm glad in a little way, both the council and our voluntary sector have been able to support her work in Hackney, and I hope we're going to continue to support that work. And I know many of you are not from Hackney. Many of you, today we assemble from various parts of London. Do I have anyone who is from outside London? Have you? No. So that is still good. So we're still all Londoners. So we need to collaborate. When at my opening remarks at the seminar today, what I said to people is it's good for people to be doing their own thing at that corner, but one thing that is important is for us to be able to come together, have a voice, and fight together. It does help. I work with the Somali organization in this country, and the Somali, they've got an umbrella organization called the Council of Somali Organization. That organization gets an average of £1 million every year because they are together. They collaborate together, they put things together and say these are the issues affecting Somalians in this country. They want the government to do something, and they're succeeding in doing that. I want us women who are in this room, women who are campaigning on various issues, FGM, education, and early child marriage, diabetes, let's come together as mothers. And before I know, I'm meant to say a few words. Sorry, you don't give a politician a microphone. The last thing I want to say, in the last 3 months, you have seen, and I said this break my heart. 2 days ago, I was at a meeting with some senior police officers in London because of what in the last 3 months, as you all can see, they've had a lot of knives crime, gang crime that have killed some of our young people. And when you see the name of these young people, majority of them, I'm not one of those people that bury my head in the sand because of racism. They are children from West Africa. So please, mothers, it's time for us. We have been talking about knives crime. Our community needs to come together. They were doing knife sweeps in the last 3 weeks in London. All those, they said 90% of the recovered knives and guns are from young black male. We are the people, mothers, we brought them to this life. Fathers, we're all here. It is time for us to engage with our young children. It is time to engage with our young black males in London and refocus. We have been talking, I'm not saying we're not talking as a community about knives, but it is time for us to refocus our conversation around gang, around crimes. These kids grew up with us. I'm not saying some kids will go to school, they mix up with all sorts, but our influence as fathers and mothers are very important on our children. So on that note, I'll say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, to say hello to everyone, and coming back to our host today, I celebrate you. Well done, my sis. It is a privilege to know you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Without knowing it, it was perfect to have you speak in so many ways. So before we get the children on, I want to share something with you in terms of my work. So thank you for bringing me onto that agenda. I wasn't going to mention it. In Hackney, and we're inviting other boroughs to do so as well, we're working on an initiative called Improving Outcomes for Young Black Boys. It's led by your colleague, Councillor Bramble, who wants to address the disproportionate negative outcomes. If you're interested, if you're an organisation interested. We just put in a £2 million business plan to Big Lottery, who are seriously thinking about addressing that. But we're also interested, they are interested in how we collaborate with other boroughs. So is anybody from Lambeth, Haringey, Southwark? Wonderful. So come and see me and talk to me. On your tables, there's this sheet, the Parents One-Stop Advice Surgery. And I have to say, sometimes what's been accepted is that parents don't know what's happening with their young children. Parents don't know the power of peer influence. But we're working with a team who can introduce you to grooming, bullying, exploitation, something called county lines, when a child goes missing and is taken outside of the borough, outside of your eyes, outside of your home. And they are willing, Hawa, to come to any event. And there's an awesome, I don't use that word lightly, awesome 3-hour session that gives you an introduction as parents. Are you interested in taking part in it? You'd have to come to Hackney because it's for Hackney. But they will run a session which empowers you to understand the power of peer influence. Okay, so you'll hear about contextual safeguarding. As far as you as a mother or a father is concerned, you're thinking, where are they? Well, who are they with? Who are they mixing with? So I'm going to put Hawa in touch with the team who can come and deliver that on a Saturday afternoon. We had them about 3 weeks ago. It's awesome. But it is a 3-hour session, and they do like to start on time. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. But it's worth coming to. I'm delighted to say the children are getting ready, so I'm just using this time. Is that okay? So the children are getting ready, but while they're doing that, I want you to understand there's so much happening in our community that we need to share. So we're one more thing to share with you. On your tables, you've got the Parents One-Stop Advice Surgery, 10 topics. Now, I appreciate if you are working in the week and you're busy, it's hard to get to the Citizen Advice Bureau, it's hard to get advice. Hawa Trust is on this list if you want to come in and talk to someone, but there's so much else. How many people do you know affected by housing issues? Is that a lot? Shelter are there. Shelter are sitting there giving one-to-one advice. So we've got shelter. We've got children with disabilities, so people providing advice around that. We've got Hawa Trust. We've got budgeting and finance. We've got employment matters. We've got substance misuse. How many parents and fathers, mothers, adults are worried about substance misuse? Many? Yeah? If you want to find out about what's happening and resources for parents, again, it's here. So there's lots happening in the borough. The details are there in terms of how you can text or book. Do take advantage of it. My last message, a number of people here are running organizations. Can you put your hand up if you're running a diabetes project or any kind of international or local organization? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my role in Hackney CVS is to support charitable organizations. That's what I do. And one of the key things, we're not going to get any funding unless we meet safeguarding policies and procedures. It's not on the list, but if you want to come and see me, I'm at this event next week, and we've got people who advise. We've got a session on the 14th of April around safeguarding all you need to meet the criteria so that funders can fund you. Often, they don't tell you, but it's if you meet the safeguarding requirements, you can access funding. Am I right? Okay, so there's free advice. So nothing I'm saying is chargeable. It's all free of charge. So can I check if the children are ready? Are the children ready? Okay, so first of all, our lovely Sarah has got a poem for us. Can we give her, it's very hard talking in front of a group of adults. So Sarah's going to start us off with a poem in celebration of International Women's Day. Are you ready? Wonderful. How old are you, Sarah?
10.
Sarah's 10 years old and she's addressing this adult audience. A huge round of applause to get her started.
My mother. My mother is like a woman no other. She gave me life, nurtured me, taught me, dressed me, fought at me, kissed me. But most importantly, she loved me unconditionally. There are not enough words to describe just how important my mother is to me and what a powerful influence she continues to be. Mothers, I love you all. She is my first love, first friend, and first enemy. But nothing on earth can keep you apart. Your mother will always be with you. She is your cold breath in a winter's sun, rain's day for you. She is the sound of rain that helps you fall asleep. She is the colors of the rainbow. She lives inside your laughter. She is the map you follow as your journey through life. She is the whisper of the leaves as you walk down the street. She is the smell of the flowers you pick. She is the fragrance of life itself. She is a cool hand on your head when you are not feeling well.
Thank you very much. Who's that? Okay, so our second person's coming up. Wonderful. What's your name?
Abigail.
Wonderful. Abigail, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Abigail.
Wonderful. So this is Abigail, everyone. A round of applause for Abigail. How old are you?
10 going to 11.
So Abigail's nearly 11, she says, so she's going to make a big debut. Go ahead.
Who sat and watched my infant head when sleeping on my cradle bed, and tears of sweet affection shed my mother, when pain and sickness made me cry, who gazed upon my heavy eye and wept for tears that I should die, my mother, who taught my infant lips to pray and love God, holy book and day, and walk in wisdom, pleasant way, my mother. And when I caused to be affectionate and kind to thee, who wast so very kind to me, my mother. Ah no, the thought I cannot bear, and if God please my life to spare, I hope I shall reward thy care, my mother. When thought art feeble, old and grey, my healthy shall be thy stay, and I will soothe thy pain away, my mother.
Thank you so much, Abigail. And the last but not least, what's your name? So this is Mariama, and you're how old? Mariama's 15 years old, and this is our last poem before we have the dancers. Can we give Mariam a huge round of applause?
Phenomenal woman. Pretty woman wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion lifestyle. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it is in the reach of my hand, the span of my hips, the stride of my steps, the call of my hips. I am a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. I walk into a room just as cool as you please. And to a man, the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. Then they'll swarm around me, a hive of funny bees. I said, it's the fire in my eyes and the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist and the joy in my feet. I am a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got our 4 dancers. So the SL dancers, Sierra Leone dancers. Are you ready, girls? Wonderful. So we've got 4 performances from the SL dancers. Are you ready? So do you want to come along this mat?
Amsterdam, come along. I'm so what telling me, hush. Amsterdam, come along. Hush. Chill it. So we give it to them. Make a bad boys to them. One of my, so we give it to them. Make a bad boys to them. Hush. Hush. Amsterdam, come along. Hush. One of my. Hush. One on and on. I'm gonna be a boom. Hush. Masuna mama say boom. Fingers out of the boom. Hush. Yes. Bad boy, mother, two boy, say yo dead. Shawty, she get body. If it's a crime to lose, then girl I'm sorry. Hey. Shawty, she get body. Hey. And anytime you need me, girl I'm ready. Hey, Mbelemo, open that thing, let me come and say mo. Open that thing, let me come and do. Do they do make you say I do. Mbelemo, open that thing, let me come and say mo. Open that thing, let me come and do. Do that do. Yeah, I bet I'm like a yamu. I'm gonna get a side my toe. Bounce up on you like a kangaroo. Baby.
When you hear Gaza girls, I be badness. Mama.
Gaza girls, come show them a be a badness. If them try to violate, we put them to silence. Show them do how, don't be shuperu. Show them do how, don't be scalewu. Now show yo.
Mama.
Zongo boys love mama, so no wahala. If you know like mama, go ask your papa. Ajia show your mama. Too sweet, mama. Ajia Gaza girl, mama. Gaza Hindu, mama. Build cannabis, mama. Oba freaky show your mama. Say what get rich, mama. Unruly Ajia Nick, mama. Gaza girls, come show them a be a badness. If them try to violate, we put them to silence. Show them do how, don't be shuperu. Show them do how, don't be scalewu. Now show yo.
Mama.
Mama, B boys love mama, eh. Nima boys them love mama, eh. Z-Town boys them love mama, eh. Newtown boys them love mama, eh. Gaza slim, mama. Unruly queen, mama. Unruly Hajia Sewa, Babylon key, mama. Gaza girls, come show them a be a badness. If them try to violate, we put them to silence. Show them do how, don't be shuperu. Show them do how, don't be scalewu. Now show yo.
Mama.
So we had Miss Sarah Leone up earlier, and she talked about staying back and then coming forward and doing all the work she's done. Here's our future. Here's our young people with their debut performance, so they deserve another round of applause because they are the SL dancers, so they're the Sierra Leonean representatives, so we need to celebrate them. Wonderful. Woo! Wonderful. Okay, so thank you very much. We'll see you again very soon. Wonderful. So we're coming down to the next part of our program. So Frederick, are you ready for the video? Mayata, are you ready? Wonderful, okay. So in terms of the Hawa Trust, they've been doing a lot of work over the last year on a project called You Are Not Alone. And we know as women, as people in the community, sometimes you can feel isolated, and that's the worst situation to be in. So the fact that they've been running their initiative, You Are Not Alone, on a monthly basis, on the last Friday of each month. Can anybody tell me what time they meet? Yeah, what time? What time on a Friday? Okay, tell them. So from 4:30 onwards. So one of the actions you can take, if you know people are feeling isolated and you may not have the time to support them, you can refer them to You Are Not Alone. It's a gathering where women can sit, reflect, and talk. But I'm not going to say much more about it. Mayata, are you ready? Yeah? Wonderful. Here's a video.
We don't know how she always finds a way, the mystery of a woman, a savior in a time of need, the bravery of a woman. In your time of need, she does the deed, the magic of a woman. Woman, woman, a warrior is a woman. Woman, woman, a savior is a woman. Woman, woman, a warrior is a woman. Woman, woman, a savior is a woman. Yeah, 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 yeah. When a man will cry, a woman smiles. Her shoes have walked 1,000 miles. Her sticks of stone can break her bones. She welcomes all her friends and foes. When her spirit's down, she has no time to frown. A warrior is a woman. Woman, woman. A warrior is a woman. Woman, woman, a savior is a woman. Woman, woman, a warrior is a woman. Woman, woman, a savior is a woman. Bountiful, wonderful is a frame of mind. Beautiful, colorful, style is one of a kind. A womanhood and her motherhood are her strength and pride. A warmth and grace she cannot hide. The wonders of a woman. Woman, woman, a warrior is a woman. Woman, woman, savior is a woman. Woman, woman, a warrior is a woman. Woman, woman, a savior is a woman. Yeah.
Yes, woman, the good warrior, as it says, created as helpers. Sorry, I have to read off my phone. Created as helpers, a child bearer, a mother, a worker, and a contributor to family and society's welfare, beauty and romance. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen,
children, all women of this world, I greet and salute you. Let me come once more, welcome you all to our event and program. Yes, the Hawa Trust. Within the Hawa Trust, we have our women's group called You Are Not Alone. And it's a platform where women, young women, girls come and discuss about family issues, like topics, like I will ask, men, are you aware that not all traditional marriages are recognized under UK law? And then we have questions that women will come up with, like, do you know what your rights are as parents? Are you aware that marriages under Sharia law are not legally recognized under the UK law? Do you know how other special areas do you know how to access the special areas of the healthcare system? So us as women, we come together, we brainstorm questions that worry us, and then we sit down at the table, we discuss over meal, drink, we laugh, and then we come to one conclusion. So at the Hawa Trust, we have our women's group called the hashtag You're Not Alone. And this hashtag You're Not Alone, and it happens every last Friday of every month. Unfortunately, our next meeting will have been held on the 31st. I believe it will be on the Good Friday, but on the Good Friday, it's a special day, so it's been postponed for the 27th of April, and the next will be on the 25th of May. So you're all welcome to come and join us and spread the messages around. Bring your friends, your children at the Hawa Trust, and it takes place at the at Kingsmead Cabin at the Homerton, Marsh Hill, just not far from the Homerton Hospital. Or you can check our website for more info. Thank you.
Wonderful. So thank you very much. So you've heard it quite a bit. I'm going to ask the speakers to come forward. So do you want to come forward? You've got to go. So because you've got to go, we're just going to sit down very quickly. We've got some, we just need 2 minutes of your time. Yes. 2 minutes. Grab a chair. Oh, me? Yes, everybody. Oh, okay. So we've got a bit of a panel time here. Sorry, my love. Okay, they've got to do that next time. Thank you. Where's Hawa? Come on in. Bring that chair forward. Mayata, do you want to take a seat? So we've listened to the speakers. Thank you very much. You've listened, you've eaten, you've seen dancers and performers. What you haven't had a chance is to ask some questions. So we've got a brief question and answer time for the panel in terms of some key messages. One of my themes for today is a call to action. We come together, we can listen and learn, but unless we take it out into the community, we won't be progressing any further. So I know you've got to go, but so you did a wonderful interview with Hawa. If you had a call to action from the audience here, what would it be? Would you share?
Yes, I can. I think we have to start believing in ourselves and stop putting our trust in others. Because I think as a community, I mean, not just Sierra Leonean community, but the Hackney, I'm from Enfield, Haringey, wherever you may be, I think as communities we can change. We can make an impact in change. I have been fortunate to work with the likes of Hawa, Comfort, Joy, Syrian, many people. We now have Hawa in our midst. It's important for us to bring our young people. So for me, the call to action would be for anybody in this room who perhaps you run an organization or you have any sort of activity, invite young people in. And I think when you bring a young person along, they're more likely to stay engaged. They're more likely to bring new ideas that will encourage organizations to grow. and obviously can reach more people. And we see the power of social media. We see the power of just the language that young people are now using connects the dots. So it's important for us as communities to feel that we have the strength and the power. And it's good that the councillor said we have to start to look from within the concerns of our community, and I think we can do a lot more. And just from the strength of Hawa, one person can do so much. And I think I'm leaving here today feeling so inspired that she was able to not just work in Hackney, but to take the work that she does in Hackney to Sierra Leone and make that much of a change. So I think in some ways she has now challenged us as well, and I would like to pass on that challenge.
My call for action would just be based on what Auntie Alima said, like engaging young people. These days, we the young people, we're so good at social media. And the more we put the message out there on social media, the more people get it. And also for the people that don't use social media, we need to go meet them. We need to speak in their own language. We need to talk to them the way they can understand us. Because a lot of the time we're faced with challenges like, oh, you're westernized. You just want to bring all those things to us. So we have to speak to them in a traditional way so for them to understand what we're talking about.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hawa. And thanks to you as well for supporting Hawa. My call of action will be in support of all what they have said, because we cannot deny the fact that there's a great need for that. But we need our men as well. Men, to be honest, I have to say a lot of our Sierra Leonean men are on board, but only they're isolated. We need them to come out, like the gentleman raises his hand up. He has an organization, he's working on issues, you know. So they're isolated, and we have men who need to be, you know, enlightened, change their perception. You know, one thing about our Sierra Leonean men, they are so tolerant. They can accommodate anything we throw at them. So please, we want men to come on board. We need you, like I said, we need you on this race. We cannot do it alone. So that's my call. Thank you.
My call is, as Alima and the other former speakers have said, we need to work together. United we stand, divided we fall. Especially this goes for we, the Sierra Leoneans that are campaigning against harmful practice. We need to stand firm and work hard before we go down to Sierra Leone. Yeah? Then we want more young girls. Like I've got my champions here. They are doing fantastic. I've got Natasha. She's from the Caribbean. She came and did placement to the Hawa Trust. Oh, she didn't want to go. She's there now. She's one of our champions. Another one, Mayata Lahai. We have them. Then you see the young girls? We have so many. Even the boys, they want to come. I said, okay, like Black History Month, you see the boys out. But today is for the women. But we have to work hard and educate our young girls. Education, it can help. We educate them here like the other young girl. Few weeks ago, Sarah, she phoned me 10 o'clock. She said, Auntie, watch Channel 4. FGM Detective is on now. I said, are you watching? She said, yes, I'm watching. Watch it now. I said, oh, my God. Then when I met with her again, I asked her, how was it? She said, Auntie, we are getting there. The other Sarah. Yeah. So you see, educating her, she take it to her school, educate her teachers. She said, my teacher wants to come. I said, yes, let her come. The more we educate them, the more they are spreading it. Nobody will judge Sarah again. And the other two girls, they've known what FGM does to women. So we need more education. We need to empower more young girls. for them to know. So that's my take.
It's important to empower girls, but it's also important to empower boys. I agree with you 100%. So in our community, we don't need any further divisions. We need to get everyone on board, increasing their awareness, changing their attitude, and changing their behavior. It takes time. So one of the things I'm working with is 5 men's groups, a fathers group, a faith group, but there are 5 different fathers groups or men's groups that I'm working with. I would love to see men. My call to action is by next year this time, I'd like to see a group of men working around the issue of FGM. That's what I would like to see. So, and we can support you. We've got 29 grassroots organisations from the African heritage community that we're working with as part of this £2 million bid. I would like to see more people get involved in that initiative. So if you've got ideas and you want to grow your organisation, that's what I've been doing for 30 years. I don't look it, but that's what I've been doing for 30 years. I can help you grow your organisation. That's a promise. That's a promise. So questions from the floor. Where are we going to start? People are recording, so ask questions. I'm going to come to you recording and interrupt you. Any questions to the panel?
Well, I don't have any questions to the panel, but I just want to buttress what my sister said, because this is a win-win situation. It's not only about women, because where there's a woman, there should always be a man. Because the word WOMAN always ends with man. So including man into such an organizations, it play a vital role because it's a win-win situation. No matter what it is, either FGM or whatever it is, however the women take it into action, they might need the consent of the men as well, because the fathers play another role to convince the children as well. So that's a very good intentions. I hope everything will goes on well. And we're happy to be here because Hawa is, regardless of she's part of our family, but I know Hawa, I'm just from Freetown. I went to the village where she taught over 10 or 12 villages. I was even expecting if the money should have not left her on her way. She did more than beyond expectations. She did more than even the politicians have done, because the politicians, they sent people, but Hawa went there voluntarily with her own token coins. In Africa, one thing about Africa is once they see you, they don't need much, they need money. Even some people that travel by foot coming to the center where our organizes people, they walk on foot. They were asking Hawa for their transport. You walk on foot, they're asking for my transport to return back. How do you came? They did not come on by transport, but they come on foot, but they said, can I have my transport? I want to return back. How can I give you transport when you walk? So that's Africa. So bless her. Yeah? That's all I have to say for now. Thanks very much.
So I'm going to take it round to each table. Susan, I know you've spoken, and you warned me about giving you the mic. Any comments over here? Would you like to say a few words? Any comments or questions? Dan Moore.
Well, I just want to commend Hawa for the good work that they are doing, walking the talk. They were talking of NGOs bypassing us, going to Africa. Now, instead of having other people doing the work within the African community, Hawa and her team, they are doing the work in the African community. That is highly commendable. Thank you.
Any questions from this table here? Feedback? Oh, wonderful.
Thank you. I just want to take this opportunity to say I have a little good background of Hawa. I saw a very dynamic, hardworking, intellectually minded lady when we were in Kiev, and she was a student in the Kiev University. As you will see today, she is very creative, full of initiative, dynamic. Even when she had 2 babies to grapple with, she still went to college, and she had some very good grades. But she's taken education to another level where she's become a champion of society. And when she's a champion of society, it is somebody who takes an issue, believes in it, drives that issue for the good of the people who perish because of that. Today, Hawa, you've brought an awareness not only to the female sector of this country and to Sierra Leone, but even to us men who may have our little prejudices and fear and intimidations against the topic that is raised now. I only want to wish you well, success, and continuation in your good work. Thank you very much.
I've got a person who wants to speak over here. Hello, Lethan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, can you hear me? Happy Women's Day to every woman, and Happy Mother's Day. My thanks go to Hawa Dabo for being supportive for the FGM, and she's growing, and I wish her all the best so that she can reach her goal. For you to sit down and say, I want to think to stop something that is so big in Africa and all over the world, then you must be a very brave person, and I wish her all the best. And for Mother's Day, it's not only for you that carry a child for 9 months that's supposed to be a mother. That's the advice to all women. But for women that care for any child all over the world, social worker, nurses, midwife, you know, carer, and everybody, we're all mothers. So we should look after for each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister D.
So I'm going to come straight away to a very important woman who's meant to be sitting up here. Joy, can you take your seat over there, please? Please. So get ready. I'm coming back to you to speak. Coming back to you. So, over here.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. I want to say Happy Mother's Day and Happy International Women's Day. For me, I got touched by one of the statements. But what's your name, please? Your name. Yeah. All of us are working together to save families, women, as well as children. But what I gathered for the last 3 weeks, I was in a police conference wherein I shared the issues around Southeast women, especially from Sierra Leone, because my heart goes to those women, especially that lost their kids through knife. Some are still seeking for justice, whilst others are afraid because their kids know something about what happens, but they're afraid. They protect them. And because of that, that has caused so much pain, so much suffering among our communities. What I want to say to us today, this evening, in here at Sierra Leoneans, we have so much things to do. We still not yet there. We don't look at the important issues. We care about ourselves more than what matters to everybody. And women are suffering silently, trust me. Whether you see them well-dressed, wear the most expensive dress, there's something underneath that dress that we need to unearth. If we don't, then we're not getting anywhere. It's just like we're just dancing at the same music. It's not about parties. It's not about who knows me. It's not about your name, your fame. It's about caring for one another. When I shared that with the police, they told me, anytime if all of us in Southeast London, and the mothers especially, that lost their kids, will come together, they are ready to help us. There is police protection. Trust me, if you know something, just help that woman that is dying. They want to know the truth to close the case. Their hearts are bleeding. Please, let us be our sisters' keepers. It's not about challenging ourselves. As Hawa was saying, if together we cannot work, who is going to change Sierra Leone? Trust me. It's me and you, the diaspora. You travel, go to Ghana. We've been to Senegal. We've been to Guinea. We've been nearly all over Africa just for us to advocate on women affairs and girls, especially on FGM. But when you ask yourself, where are we Sierra Leoneans? We need to do more in our community in here as well as back home. For me, not to waste your time, but we need to say this. Going back to Sierra Leone, look at what is happening there, the political landscape. Regional, tribal conflict is setting us apart again. For you to go give somebody that, it doesn't mean nothing if you give him or her a position because she's my brother. We need to work hard. In here, for some of us, we are open. I'm always there to support whoever wants to come together. And I trust you, we're going to meet you. Because all of us have in here organizations. My organization is Girl Child Network. Mostly I work in Sierra Leone, and I've been there. I don't want to say history. What I do quietly, unless people say, oh, we don't know about you. I say, then I've been there for 7 years now. I know what I'm talking. Sierra Leoneans, we need to come together. Women as well as men. And we're just planning, like this summer, we're going to establish girls' clubs. We're going to set a club for you for our, we're going to do the training. In Acne, we're going to set that, we've got space already. Southeast, we're going to have girls' clubs. We don't think you cannot fatten your pig in the market today. We're going to start from age 5 to 9. They're going to be in one club. Age 9 to 14, one club. We believe if we start with that, we'll get it right before they become 18 or 19 for us to start the conversation. How we can teach them. How we can be the positive role models. How we can tell them, hey, look at me, I'm here. You want to talk, you can talk to me. How we can tell them, you are not the type that will be fighting over men, but we want to teach you morals. We want you to believe in yourself. We want to build your confidence. We want you to have self-esteem. We want you to believe in you, saying that I can speak up, I can stand, I can make it as a girl. The sky will be my limit. Please, let us work together.
Thank you. And I know that sometimes we're divided because we're in a borough-based event, but what we're talking about is the community, the diaspora community. So many organizations that I'm in touch with have got a foot in the UK and a foot back home. And that's how we need to establish ourselves, establish our contacts. So not just think borough-based, thinking cross-borough and across the waters as well. So thank you for all you said. Thank you.
Oh, Auntie Hawa, that's why I call her. She's a very good woman to me. I'm a super survivor. I've been through a lot in my life. And then he took me under his umbrella. Now I'm doing well. I'm so pleased for her. So let's clap for her. So at this time, because I've been suffering from mental illness, and just guess, if it's back home at this time, kids will laugh at you. Kids will throw stone against you. But Auntie Hawa draw me to, let me just say, the umbrella, and said, you're not alone, Fatmata. Come to my office. So I've been going there. Now I'm doing very well. I'm taking my medication. Yes. I'm trying to be an advocate.
What it is to see the difference and hear the difference. Fantastic. So I want to, ladies over there, anybody want to make a contribution? Oh, yes. And a fashion designer. We can see it. It's beautiful. You wear it well. You wear it well. So I'm going to hand the mic to Joy Gardner. You're going to just say, I met Joy through my work. Such a powerful woman. When I've gone to... No, I asked if you wanted to say anything. Are you ready to? Okay, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. Okay, and last but by no means least... Sorry, forgive me. Who would like to speak? Here you go, there you go.
Hello everyone. My name is Husseina Hamza. I know Hawa very well. Hawa, we work together. And when you came for the first time in the office, I think I was the first person to welcome you. Hawa, I heard your story, where you're coming from and where you are. But remember, we have something to do. We have a job to do. What you're doing in your country is something touchable me
in my country, and I want to do that. Actually, what I'm talking about is our children. I heard the counselor say about black African children, how they've been killed. One of the things that I found out is parents. Because, forgive me if I'm going far, as parents, sometimes we don't take much time to sit with our kids, to know what our kids doing. Now, actually, I'm a mentor of one of my sister, who, yes, I know she's a single mother, and she have young children. Yes, she have to work to survive, to pay bills, to pay rent, to pay everything. But what I always tell her, please have some times with your children. One is the boy, and the other one is the girl. You go to work, 5 o'clock, the children are coming home. You don't know if they are home or they're not home. You come back 9 o'clock. Imagine what is happening. You don't know. Another thing which I want to say that us people who are coming in this country from Africa, we have to teach our children where we are coming from. We need to teach our culture. Yes, not everything in West are good than bad in Africa. No, I don't believe that, because all of us, we are here, we are adults, and we know where we're coming from. Another thing which I want to say, the children who have been born here or just brought here with the parents, I can say about the young girls, they are doing very, very well. They are really, I don't know how to say, going to university, looking for the job which they can be powerful and be known. So, young girls, you are the powerful. You are the one to stood up and say, you know what? Don't step us down. We are here. Let's united. Everyone who have a friend, who have a colleague, coming from university, from work, just try actually to unite and bring a project together of young women from black African coming to this country. Because you are the one who stood up and we will follow. Why? Other parents, I can say, language is a barrier. They want to express themselves, but they can't. But those parents who will come to you and say, I want you to address this issue, and I'm sure you will address for them. And you will be fighting for them. We look how young boys have been killed. Yeah? And sometimes we blame. They are racist. They are not racist. It's our young boy. Yeah? I work in a community and I know really what is going on. In Southeast, someone touched about Southeast. What I found out, how they be killed, they say, if you leave SE6 and you go SE13 and see you with a girl of SE13, they will look around you and they will kill. Myself, I have experience of my cousin, stepson. He had a friend who was coming to our house, sleeping, eating, do everything in the house. But one day, they took my son's cousin and want to kill her. They trapped her, took her in the car, and say, we want money from you. Imagine, I have experience. But the good thing that we track police, and they follow. They took the boy from 7 o'clock. 2 days, we don't know where they are. The police are trying to track them. They couldn't get them. When we went and find the boy, you couldn't believe. And thank God, he's alive. What they did to him is, I can't say. But God knows. That is my point I want to raise. Another thing is just want to say, yes, what here in this country, can we united, like what you are doing as a Sierra Leone, try to invite or engage with other country, because that is the way we will learn how you started and I will started and support my country. So let's work together, united. Wherever you have a function, please, if you know there's someone from Somalia, Uganda, Tanzania, please invite them and see what you are doing and support who want to do something to their country. Hawa, I just say, may Allah grant you. May Allah bless you. Rabbana takabal inkan samiu alim. Watubu ilayna anta tawabu rahim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanat. Wa akhirat hasanat. Wa qina adhaban nar. Thank you.
It's really powerful. Thank you very much. You want to say?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here tonight to support Auntie Hawa. I've known Hawa for many years. I was just coming from work because she sent me her postal and I said I was going to come no matter how far. I joined the train from Ladbroke Grove and I'm here to support her. Myself, I'm an ambassador for diabetes. And as women, we celebrate International Women's Day today. And the first person here today is the woman. And we should learn to take care of ourselves. Our health, our education, the way we bring up our families is our responsibility. And as African women, no matter how rich your husband is, you are the head of the family. Because when kids are sick, it's you. When they fail, it's you. When they are good, it's their dad's children. But when they fail, it's the mom's child. So we, the women, we should learn to take care of ourselves. Just like our sister said here, my organization is Friends of Diabetes International. I'm hoping to invite all African nations or people from especially sub-Saharan Africa to come on board. So what we learn here, the experiences we've got here, because when they say diabetes, it's not just like they used to say it's an illness of affluence. It's all over the world. Symptoms are the same, whether you're Chinese, you're African, you're Japanese, it's the same symptoms that you have. But for today, it's International Women's Day. We, the women, we should network, learn from each other how we could manage our stress, talk about how we could bring up our kids so that they don't end up being victims of knife crime, teach our children the disadvantages and advantages of FGM so they can be ambassadors, because all of us doing this are not children. We need to bring up the young girls who will step into our shoes when we are tired. Hawa is bringing up lots of girls who we hope are going to continue her work. I am doing the same, but if you go on the website, which is Friends of Diabetes International, you will see that there's space there for you to send messages if you want to come on board. It's an organization of international affluence. You can join, and you're all welcome. But today, we celebrate Hawa. We say thanks to her for doing what she has done, bringing the women together, which is a very big thing she has done. And we say thank you to her. We pray that God continues to give her the wisdom and the strength to carry on what she's doing.
So would anybody else like to speak before I move back to the panel? Wonderful. Would anybody who came would like to say anything? Okay, I'm going to bring it back to Joy.
wanted to say, or in addition to what has been said, I'm not African, but I feel I am, because the talk today, it was all about African. But first of all, we've got to see ourselves as one people, yes? Women and men of color, yes? And I was inspired many, many years ago to do something about harmful practices because I am a qualified midwife. And as a result of what I saw in my practice, I set up a clinic 18 years ago, inspired by my colleague, Comfort Momo. And I set up that clinic because I wanted to improve the care and birth outcomes for women that were affected by FGM, domestic violence, etc. Moving on from that, I have since been working with many communities, training and giving them awareness of FGM and the other harmful practices. I've worked in many boroughs, at least 10 in London, with communities. Somali community, the Bondo Society, yes, Eritrean community, Sudanese community, Nigerian community, and that was a result of the non-government organizations that asked me to be involved with training, etc. Sincerely, I want to thank Hawa for inviting me to be here today, and I've been to other events that she has put on, and I will continue to support her, the advocates that work within harmful practices. There are mentors that I've trained as well, and I think that first of all, there's been a lot of talk about being a woman, but it's not only about being a woman, it's about being human, because unless we can be human first, we cannot change anything. And change within harmful practices comes from within. And unless we can change ourselves and think positively about the work that's being done, however small or large, in terms of harmful practices, of which FGM is just one of them, we cannot change anything. And in addition to that, there's a lot has been said today, but when we leave here, we need to reflect on everything that has been said and continue to bring about change with what's going on within the Black community. Not only the African community, in the Black community as a whole. Getting our young men on board and giving them some guidance as to how they can change themselves. Because if young Black boys, really, they're not men, are killing each other every day for no specific reason, they don't think of themselves as being a person. They need first to think of themselves and respect themselves, because you cannot respect somebody else if you don't respect yourself. I don't want to say a lot more because I think I've said a lot, but I can talk for the rest of this evening non-stop. Thank you again for having me here today and for listening and learning a lot from the mentors and all those who participated in this program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always worth... Can we give a strong round of applause to Dr. Joy Clark, please? So we're coming towards the end of the program. I've mentioned earlier that we've got fantastic stalls. Look behind you. We've got some garments. We've got some dolls. We've got more dolls over here. We've got wonderful pictures for you to see. And as I said earlier, don't forget to take your picture in our lovely frame. We've got the Obaseki solicitors. We've got Case Cosmetics. That's Hawa's daughter. So there's lots for you to see. But one thing that's hard about these events, it's hard to keep Hawa in her seat. She's gone again. Can you come in, Hawa? Can you come back? So Hawa's so busy multitasking, it's hard to get her. On your tables, can you pick up your evaluation form? There's 2 evaluation forms. So Afruka asks you to fill in their evaluation form, and Hawa Trust has an evaluation form. This really is important to complete so that we can give feedback. What's been good about the conversation today is about working across the diaspora, working across the international borders that separate us on common issues together. So it's really important. Hawa, can you please come back to the panel? And everybody, can we give Hawa a final thank you and round of applause for organising us? So, panel, can you sit back down? So, panel, I want to thank you for your contribution to today, your messages that you've shared, the call to action that you've given everyone, the inspiration. Each of you have made an individual contribution that we can take away and think about and act on, so it's wonderful. But at this very stage, I would like you to stand on your feet with me and join in saying thank you to Hawa. And Susan, if you can do the honours of a special thank you to Hawa. Hawa, can you please stand up?
In this room, we appreciate you for your contributions, for what you are doing, and for what you will continue to do. So we celebrate this lovely woman called H A W A Hawa.
Well done. Sasa. Yeah, my team. Natasha, Maya, and the children. Sarah Mutu, Sarah Mutu, Balu. No. Balu, come out. This is our success. Come and celebrate with me. Where are the girls? Where are my champions? Where are my champions? When I did cry, my mother go carry me. Where is Maya? Where did you did cry? Stop. Maya and Natasha. Stop. Make you not cry again. Where is Natasha? When I was asleep, my mother go bed me. She go lie me well for bed. She cover me cloth, say me good sleep, sleep, my pikin oh. When I dey hungry, my mother go run up and down. She dey find me something when I go chop. Sweet mother, oh, so my sweet mother. When I dey sick, my mother go cry. She go say instead when I go die, make she die. She go beg God, God help me, my pikin oh. Oh my mother, if I no sleep, my mother no go sleep. If I no chop, my mother no go chop. She no dey tire, sweet mother. I no go forget the suffer where you suffer for me, yeah. Sweet mother, sweet mother, oh, oh, sweet mother, I will never forget you. For the suffer you suffer for me,
Nobody suffer where you suffer for me, yeah. When I dey cry, my mother go carry me. She go say my baby.
Hello? Hello, we're nearly finished. We just got about 3 more minutes to wrap up here. This is so hard. Hawa, did you want everybody down there to have a picture? Okay, so Hawa's got a big challenge for us. You see the lovely decoration down there? We're meant to all of us head in that direction for a big picture. Okay, and that will close the event. There's one other person I wanted to introduce in the room. Can I just introduce him and ask you to stand up? So we have here, based on our conversation, the national FGM, the head of the national work on FGM. Do you want to meet him? Yes. Okay, Lifu, can you just stand up? Just show us who you are. This is the national head of FGM, everybody. Okay? He works quietly but effectively. So can we head down to the pictures at the back here? Everybody? Let's go. Thank you very much. That's the close of the event.
That's why I'm telling you, the way you take care of me, the things where you did do for me, boom boom, that shit for me, the way where you take care of me, things where you did do for me, boom boom, that shit for me. I gotta thank God that He made me, and you for the way that you raised me, and all the love you gave me. No matter how grown I'm your baby, I remember what you said. When I need to clear my head, I can always come to you. Mama, that's what I do. When I want to travel, now you. When I want buy clothes, now you. When I want make music, now you. When they support me, when I need advice, now you. No matter the price, now you. That very sweet price, now you. That's why I'm telling you, the way where you take care of me, the things where you did do for me, boom boom, that shit for me, that shit, the way where you take care of me, things where you did do for me, boom boom, that shit for me, that shit. I remember when I started trying to do my music. You put your money up and told me I could use it. You never doubted me, always was proud of me. That's why I love you, mama. Do anything for you, mama. When everybody else didn't believe that it would come to this, you stood by me, told me to work harder and be focused. I love you, I adore you. That's why I want you to know. When I want to travel, now you. When I want buy clothes, now you. When I want make music, now you. When they support me, when I need advice, now you. No matter the price, now you. That very sweet price, now you. That's why I'm telling you, the way where you take care of me, the things where you did do for me, boom boom, that shit for me, that shit. The way where you take care of me, things where you did do for me, boom boom, that shit for me, The way where you take care of me, the things where you did do for me, for me. The way where you take care of me, things where you did do for me, for me.
The beat is tarantana, it go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. Oh yeah, make you ricotta ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah, 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 yeah. Everybody ricotta ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Ines is in manya manya. This is for people with chalacha, hey. People with kalaka, hey. Yanandi walanya, hey. Let's go to Kenya, Rwanda and Tanzania. No go Cameroon, Niger, Ghana, Southern Sudan. Oh yeah, make you ricotta, ricotta, mama Africa, ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah, yeah. One sara sara le, oh sara sara le. Make you dance, yeah. This one not die, yo. If you dance, I'm easy, make you no fight, oh. This one not sara sara. The beat is tarantana. It go make you manya manya. It go make you feel better. This can take away palaba. This can take away wahala. It go make you feel Niger. Oh yeah, let's go to Africa, ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh sara sara le. Make you dance, yeah, yeah, yeah. Fly from mama sara sara le. Make you dance, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ukona sara sara le. Ndi bonine sara sara le. Make you dance, yeah.
You only have one life to live. If you're lucky, then you might get two. I was down, so down, took the hit. Was a miracle that got me through. I've seen the world,